Hey guys, happy Friday. Popping in here for the post-yoga chariot chat and lots of thoughts coming in and so many things sort of still coming together. So I know this is sort of a part one because I'm thinking I'd like to pull some cards when I get inside, and I'm definitely feeling connected to a particular Archangel Metatron healing energy spray. In fact, one that I had brought in intuitively for the month of April, the Magenta Bridge for time and self-mastery. And this came through to me at the end of yoga today, so kind of working backwards. I had a challenging practice today. I was really feeling very tense and very on edge throughout the majority of the class, and my teacher was just amazing in her intuitive ability to sense and knows just where, the tension is being held, and she does these gentle adjustments that really has helped to kind of piece together a little bit of what I think I'm experiencing symbolically, in my body as the microcosm to the macro body, Earth, and what we are experiencing collectively and what we are stepping into experiencing this weekend with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. That's really, I'm feeling very connected to sort of having this rigidity and this, I mentioned this yesterday with the hands and the feet, and this extended today, and interestingly, really honed in my hip, my right hip specifically, where I was feeling this tremendous tension and rigidity and inability to just trust and allow. And also what I'm really feeling that's quite beautiful, because our card today is the 10 of Wands. And in the spring Waite deck that we are using this month, the daffodils. And I talked about the Friday message. In fact, if you're here on Marco Polo in our Empowerment Sharecast, you'll see back when we did our week ahead messages last Sunday. The one for Friday is where I talk about this energy. Here we are, wrapping up the week and heading into the weekend with this 10 of Wands, overload, potentially burnout, holding on to so much and doing it all by ourselves. It brought through lean on me. And I'm really feeling that energy. And in fact, while I was in yoga, I began to think about that beautiful song of Lean on Me when you're not strong. And I'll be your friend and I'll help you carry on. And it's beautiful because I was feeling heavy, and my teacher was able to come and support me and give me an adjustment, and she held my leg, and it relieved temporarily the pressure that my hip was feeling. And she lovingly and gently was able to say to me, now, when I let go, your hip's going to go back, and just let it go, because when it goes there, I'm going to feel that familiar, perhaps tension. I'm likening it to when we slouch and, we temporarily sit up, and you feel what it is to have that straight upright posture, and you think, oh my gosh, I have terrible posture. And then once you stop thinking about it and you settle back into muscle memory, you go back to your normal stature, and it's like, oh my goodness, you can really feel that difference. But it's so worn in, it's so familiar, it's so even comfortable in its incomfortability because I know it, right? So as I, am moving through class, and I'm very aware that I'm holding on to this, and I had actually watched this morning a YouTube video from my spiritual teacher, Amanda Ellis, and she was definitely feeling very heavy, and the messages that were coming through were quite somber in the notion of, this energy leading up to. But there's actually some really beautiful potential with this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, and I will pop in later and talk a little bit more about it. I touched on it in the energetic weather report for this week. And so, knowing that Jupiter being that planet of the unexpected and upheaval and volatility and, a lot of potential for things being out of alignment or in dis-ease, Jupiter, this planet of expansion, but also of luck and bringing in this amplification of that volatile energy, it's no wonder that those of us who are sensitive or tuning in are really potentially feeling this build up to that. And, again, just like I said with the eclipse, as for me, I choose to align myself with the highest potential timeline that we are moving through for being in flow with these energies and using them to give us that push ahead to the next. And so as I was moving through all of that, and I thought, oof, all right, we're coming down to the end here, to the final Shavasana, yoga's relaxation pose. And I had been calling on, my guides and really tuning in. And I felt from Metatron, I was shown again the Magenta bridge. And so I began to envision it like this bridge, this notion of we are collectively crossing over from one way of being to another. And it is uncertain and rickety and feels unstable. And I kind of picture it like an Indiana Jones bridge, I call it, like those bridges where you really want to hold on to either side, because with every step it's moving. And it's not just me, we're all crossing this bridge. And so others' movements impact my movements and vice versa, right? So movements that are happening on any part of this bridge, aka anywhere in this world, anywhere in this spectrum of humanity moving from this one way to another way, is all impacting each other. And so we're on this bridge, and every step that's taken has that ripple effect on everyone. And so, I was able to see that bridge, and then, when that starts to feel, but what and when and how far is there to go? And Metatron told me to see myself as if I was already on the other side of the Magenta bridge. And so I had this vision of being on the other side of the bridge and turning and looking and seeing all that distance that we have traveled and are traveling. And there were some that were already over on the other side, and there were others that were still making that trip. And there was this sense of encouragement and support. Lean on me. Come on, we can do it. Really like cheering on, as some are really holding on so tightly and really struggling to allow and to trust and to move with, and so again, I know this all just happened, in this small window of it. It's only 12:20 in the afternoon here now. So I've covered a lot of ground, but it's beautiful. And actually I feel so much better. And like I said, once I get inside and spray the Magenta bridge and maybe pull some cards, I kept seeing a very specific deck of mine that I've hardly used, but I know that it has a lot of vision, of planetary visuals on it, and I'm feeling really drawn to it. So I have to go grab that, and I hope to pop back on and share. So while I was wrapping up and then heading home, I quickly Googled on my phone, the spiritual symbolism of the hips, because I've talked before about the knees representing control and our moving forward. I talked about the feet yesterday. The hips are something that I've never really tapped into, right? So let me share with you what's coming up for the hips and pelvis, recognizing that this is just where I was holding my tension. The hips symbolize how we engage and move in the world. So it can represent questioning our movements and actions that we are about to take. And it can present a tendency to, and especially in the elderly, it's saying here, I'll say like the frail, or, people who step with instability, it presents the potential for breaking their hips from falling due to being fearful of the future. Sometimes it can reveal challenges in letting go of the past. And this is what I'm saying. This place, energetic place, way of being that we are leaving, it is familiar though. And this is all stuff that came up in Stars and Cards with Mila and I about, we've played out that MO, we have, reaped what we have sown. And I'm saying the collective we, and we're talking over generations and ancestors and, ways of being that have brought us to this moment in the way that, our current structure is set. that leaving that behind is scary and uncertain in many ways, fearful of the future, challenges letting go of the past, old ways of being, and this extends out into the wider world. Again, what's happening on other parts of the bridge that impact us all. Eye for an eye mentality, war energy, all of those things, letting go of the past. It can bring up feelings of hopelessness that are presenting themselves. And this can be due to adopting the perspective that there's nothing to look forward to. We don't know, right? Or where to from here? Or how could it possibly? Our pelvis symbolizes our sense of self and identity. Interesting. I'm reading this for the first time, by the way. I haven't read this yet. I brought it in here to share with you all. So the pelvis signifies social and sharing issues, expression of one's direction and movement, security, survival, communication, and relationships. The pelvic region reveals relationship with parents as well as how you relate to yourself. Well, we've been talking for weeks, that 6 of Cups, the nostalgia, the childhood, the inner child, the Chiron, wounding coming up, energies from the past, all very present. It can reveal one's sense of self-identity, the essence of who one truly is, deep issues of power and control, as well as, tight gluteus muscles can be a tendency to hide our deepest inner feelings. So that's what I had quickly pulled up. And I can see so much symbolism in that, in the idea that I was feeling all of that tension and rigidity in my hips and my pelvis and my inability to let go and just allow. And help was right there. She was right there. Just let me do it for you. Lean on me. And I said, it's so hard. It's so hard. I don't know. It's like, and where I was in my head. Okay, relax. Close my eyes. Okay, open my eyes, close my eyes, and it's like, I'm all in the head then. 9 of Swords. These are the energies we've had present. I'm sharing with you my unique experience, how it's shown up for me, but it goes deeper because I very much felt that the practice that I did today was my contribution to the collective in moving through what I was finding to be very challenging and difficult, where I was feeling tension. So, big stuff, all right? But I feel, like I said, this is big. This is Uranus, this is Jupiter. This is conjuncting for the first time in 14 years. And there's so much more to that. I'm just getting ready to start tapping in for the full moon in Scorpio coming right up on the other side, as I mentioned yesterday. And in preparing to share in that reading, in fact, I had come across the information that actually, being that today is the first day of Taurus season, that this conjunction is happening in the sign of Taurus, and that hasn't happened since 1941. That's the last time that Jupiter and Uranus conjunct in the sign of Taurus, which brings, again, a very particular energetic imprint. It's coming through the lens of Taurus, which is putting our focus into those particular areas. Again, this is something I'll share a little bit more about. But like I said, if you really want to go deep, I'm going to get into that in the full moon in Scorpio reading, because I think that it's, these are energies we'll be feeling into May, and we've been feeling since 2023 streaming in. So it's definitely something noteworthy to sort of fold into how we're going to be experiencing this full moon coming right up next Tuesday. So again, if you do want to join for that comprehensive reading, I'm getting ready to do it now. I'm going to be sharing the information here about the special. You can just do a full moon only reading. It's actually already on my booking link, and hop on in and get in on those wider and deeper messages. But I wanted to just pop in here from the Chariot. I'm in my husband's Chariot today, which, it's just funny. I just had a whole string of events, like nothing was working. I couldn't get the electronics to cooperate in this car, and I was uncomfortable driving without my navigation and, hands-free stuff. And it was like, I want my car. But, if you've been tuning in, you know that my daughter had a fender bender. So we have been down a vehicle and making concessions and trying to make things work. And again, 10 of Wands, it's a lot. Plate is full, lean on me, right? You can share the load. Do you really have to carry all of those wands all by yourself? And bringing in the daffodil again, as I shared for the Friday message, that the daffodils represent rebirth, renewal, the new that's coming in. And, you know, the idea that we're holding on and looking down on it like something that's daunting is one perspective. It is a lower vibrational perspective that is going to attract the like. So we have this message to look up, to look up. And it's funny because, so this car, the top comes down, and I have never driven the car with the top down because I'm not comfortable doing that. I enjoy riding sometimes as a passenger, but again, holding on myself and actually expanding into, you know, raising the roof, if we will, is something that I've been trepidatious, hesitant to do, you know, feeling that energy. So again, life is always speaking to us from the most practical and mundane ways. It really can be that deep, or it can be as simplistic as you wish. It's all about perspective. And when I lean into the depths is when I find so much around me, resources and inspiration I didn't even know was there, because I didn't see it because I was so busy focusing on all that there was to do, or, you know, responsibilities and the weight of the burden, when actually when we look up and we release and let go and allow, is when some real beautiful healing, expansion, and movement can occur. And so being on this bridge together, we move forward and we bring in this beautiful message to lean on me, and creating that beautiful potential for us all, where to from here. And I got a glimpse during Shavasana, and it was beautiful being on the other side of that bridge. And as much of time that we can spend in the energy of envisioning ourselves on the other side already, it's already here. What is meant for me will not pass me by. We are ascending. We are. So even when we're in these moments where it doesn't feel that way, keeping our eye focused on that other side is something that can really help to lift us and move us along. So I hope that makes sense. It's a little vulnerable to share something so big, but and it's Friday. It's supposed to be a casual Friday, right? But it's rather intense. But like I said, it's all good. I'm gonna pull some cards, and there's a little songbird showing up here. I'm going to pull some cards and pop in later to share that as well. So I hope you're having a beautiful day. And if you are feeling heavy, if you are feeling overloaded by all of your wands or your daffodils, you know, just take a moment to step back, look up, breathe in, and release out whatever is feeling heavy at this time, and look for the help. Look for the songbird, the silver lining, you know, something that comes along that's able to help keep you moving, because that is where we are headed from here. And it is beautiful, even when we are in these moments where it can feel very heavy and daunting. So I will talk to you soon, sending you much love and many blessings. Here we have a beautiful graphic for this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that I talked about. It's coming from Forever Conscious, along with a couple little tidbits about this transit. As I said, I mentioned it in the energetic weather report for this week quite a bit, and we will really be going deep into it for the Empowerment Pack full moon reading. So if you want to go even deeper, please do join me there. I'm just going to highlight some of the things we see here just to kind of set the stage before I start pulling a couple of cards for our weekend, of which this will certainly be the centerpiece. So we have the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction. This is one of the most profound alignments of this year. We've already been feeling it, but it peaks tomorrow, April 20th into the 21st, depending on where you are in the world. And this is an energy that we will continue to feel the effects of through May. Now, Jupiter and Uranus come together every 14 years, which heralds in a new cycle of innovation and growth. And it's a cycle that points us in the direction of the future and what's to be expanded for the collective. Jupiter and Uranus coming together in Taurus is going to bring themes relating to the technology of the future, finances, the environment, farming, agriculture, all these Taurus themes. And on a deeper level, it can begin shifting our definition of success and what it means to be abundant. Now, on a more personal level, this planetary duo coming together, it challenges us to step outside of the box, to follow the tune of our own drum, and to step away from the status quo and go deeper into our own authenticity. So under this alignment, we can experience sudden change, the desire to follow our passions or to do something new and perhaps radical. Now, this is due to, I think I may have misspoke in the Chariot Chat and said Jupiter when I meant Uranus, referring to Uranus being the planet of upheaval and unexpected things and shakeups and all of that. Okay, so some of these radical shifts and subsequent wobbly, unsettling energy, cue the Indiana Jones bridge I was referring to that I was getting in my yoga practice today. It's unsettling energy, but it is a clearer road to a more authentic self. So this is all serving to having us think outside the box, boosting our feelings of abundance, daring to be different, look to the future, innovation, awakening, yes, instability. In so doing and coming through this erratic energy and sudden change, opportunity to expand our entrepreneurial vision. So this is about our definition of success and what it means to be abundant. So again, big energy coming in. Like I said, I'm going to dive deeper into it when we kind of reflect on it for the full moon reading. And as for now, we're going to put the camera down on the altar and I'm going to pull some cards for our weekend, filtering in through this energy. Let's take a look.